Hello, I'm Valentin Mandace from History Houses Romania, Casa de Epoca, and welcome to my podcast. I would like to speak about the concept, how the concept of Holy Trinity, how the Holy Trinity per se, is expressed in the Neo-Romanian style architecture. The Holy Trinity is a Christian concept. It's quite a complicated one, involving the three main pillars of the faith, the God, the Holy Spirit, and the Son. Very hard to grasp even by seasoned Christians, and is very often seen in the national style architecture of Romania. That is a very important tenet of this architecture, which developed itself as an expression of the national identity here in the southeast of Europe, in an area of conflict with the Ottoman Empire, which used to be also an Islamic caliphate. So this architecture wants to show into architectural forms, into architectural design, the idea of the Christianity of the locals, of the Romanians, as opposed to the Islam of the Porte. The idea that the locals or the defenders of Christian Europe against the onslaught of the great power of the Ottoman Caliphate. Things which now we are smiling, although with this recrudescence of ISIS and other extremist religious movements, is not so much smiling, let's put it that way, as it used to be a few years ago. So that was the programmatic idea of the Neo-Romanian style. So it's a style which incorporates many identity parameters in it. So as I said, the most important thing for Neo-Romanian style building is to show that the locals or the defenders of Europe against the onslaught of the immense power of the Ottoman Empire. And that's why the Neo-Romanian style house is massive. That is the citadel. And you have to think in real terms about that. After the Byzantine Empire fell, the Ottoman state became the second largest and most important in the world after China. China before the Europeans came there and declined. So it was something really, really serious in those times. Now, with the idea of the national awakening of the 19th century and the national identity programs from language, painting, literature, the architecture is part of the same program. They tried to express this situation, historic situation. So house has to be massive and also to show on it symbols of Christian identity, especially Byzantine type, Orthodox, onto it. And one of the most important was the Holy Trinity. How was that expressed on the Neo-Romanian style houses? Quite direct, actually, I have to tell you. In elements grouped in three. If you have a keen eye, you detect them immediately. And it's enough just to put yourself a question. Why there are so many things grouped in three on a house in Romanian national style? Well, we call it Neo-Romanian. It's simple. It wants to express the Holy Trinity. So here is what I call the Kula tower of a Neo-Romanian style house. They are provided with this type of towers, again to reinforce the idea of the citadel against the Ottoman Empire. As this veranda, it has three openings, and each of them it has three-lobed arches, as you can see there. Three medallions over here, again very important in Byzantine Orthodox iconography. That is the Holy Trinity. It has a long history, the Holy Trinity, of course, in the Christian world. In the Romanian lands, you can see it all over the places. If you before the national style emerged, of course, in the 18th century, 17th, 16th century, especially when you enter villages. Usually they are guarded by crosses. Usually they are in number of three. These are the stone crosses at the entrance of my village when I've been born in southeastern Romania. So it has a long pedigree, and then expressed quite beautiful, in my opinion, in Neo-Romanian style houses. This processor goes very slowly. So as I put them here. This one, as I have shown to you. Okay, another interesting example is another such veranda with 3 openings and 3 lobed arches, where a larger verandas on the Romanian style houses, at the corners, they had the columns, Byzantine type columns, grouped in 3. It also has a structural role because 3 columns sustain much better the weight on the corner, but coupled with that is the unmistaken symbolism of the Holy Trinity. Even in the Neo-Romanian style houses from the late phases, is more modernist, let's put it that way, of Neo-Romanian of the 1940s in Cotroceni Quarter. You can see windows, 3 windows, first floor, 3 windows, second floor, 3 lobed arches on the Cula Tower. Again, the Holy Trinity. Or this building, which is early Neo-Romanian style, early 1900s, Casa Zotu house by Petre Antonescu in the center of Bucharest. You have the Cula Tower, 3 openings, and the Cula Tower, 3 lobed arches, a 3 lobed arch over here as well, 3 lobed arches, the entrance, the awning over the entrance of the doorway, 3 windows here at the first floor. That is the Holy Trinity. A typical Neo-Romanian style window is this kind of more oriental aspect of it, but you cannot mistake the Holy Trinity, the 3 lobed arch, within this kind of oriental setting. Or over here, the top floor of a Cula Tower, 3 small windows, that is the Holy Trinity, and also the medallions which I was telling to you. Another element in the Neo-Romanian style is the rope symbol. The rope symbol which goes around the house, it represents the cosmos, and it has 3 threads. It's permeated by the Holy Trinity. The rope symbol. Or again the facade of a Neo-Romanian style house. You cannot mistake these things. 3 windows, 3 lobed windows, this big veranda in 3 lobed arch. That is the Holy Trinity, which is all over the Neo-Romanian style, I have to say. Even on smaller details and more esoteric details like this one it's a frieze, the roof eave and the frieze of the house, which has lots of dots. And you can see these dots, they want to show you first the embroideries of the peasant shirts, and also they are so nicely grouped in 3 rows, and so on and so forth. It's a lot of let's say Trinity over there. So that is one of the main characteristics of the symbolism and decoration of the Neo-Romanian style, the Holy Trinity. What is interesting in my research, what I found, is that in the early phase of the style, in the 1880s, 1890s, the architects didn't pay much attention to the Holy Trinity. They are just far and few between these elements grouped in 3. Just of some architects played with them, like Ion Mincu, the initiator of the style, for example. They become much more obvious at the beginning of the mature phase, which is after 1906, and the few years before that, in creations of Cerchez or Petre Antonescu, for example, Victor Ștefănescu, and they really become the norm after 1906, and especially after the Great War. Holy Trinity is all over the built landscape of Bucharest or urban Romania, where you find Neo-Romanian style houses. And what is interesting this habit of grouping in three elements goes even into the communist era. On the block houses, even on Ceausescu's big development, which destroyed a large part of Bucharest, the new developments, you can see many decorations in a very uncut way made, of course, but grouped in three. It's like kind of inertia, an echo of this Holy Trinity, which was expressed all over the places in those times, in the interwar period. So I hope that you find interesting this aspect of the Neo-Romanian style. We'll see each other at the next podcast. Thank you and goodbye.